everybody, to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show featuring Dr. Carolyn Dean. Join Dr. Dean for the next 2 hours along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders, also known as Ginny Almighty. Join Dr. Dean as she shares with us her vast range of experience, knowledge, talent, and wisdom. Phone lines are now open, and we'll be taking your calls from around the world and here in the USA.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Dr. Carolyn Dean, live here on Dream Vision 7 Radio, uniting humankind with universal love and wonderfulness and joy and peace and blessings. And of course, I always say, uniting Dr. Carolyn Dean with the very rest of the world, one of the most important voices for natural and allopathic medicine in our time, Dr. Carolyn Dean. If you're just hearing about her, how fortunate are you? My name's Ginny Sanders. I've had the good fortune of working with Dr. Carolyn Dean for over 10 years now, and I can honestly say that every word that she's ever spoken is being vindicated, validated, clearly stated, and absolutely impressed upon the hearts and the minds of the entire world with the epidemic health crisis that we are in. Not just a crisis of health, but a crisis of consciousness, a crisis of common sense, a crisis of, it's such a crisis I can't even speak. I mean, I continue to be blown away with how very practical, well-researched, well thought out Dr. Dean's positions are, her base of knowledge, everything that she presents to the public. And I am stupefied at how unwilling people are to accept them and to integrate them into their lives, except on our radio show and through our customer base, of course, because here's where we find our clan, our tribe, the people that we resonate with, the people who know what time we're in and how important it is to take responsibility for your own health, your health freedom. It is your choice. It is within your sovereign role as a human creator on the planet right now to make very good decisions for yourself and your family. Tonight, Dr. Carolyn Dean, the author of the Magnesium Miracle. Yes, it was such an innocuous thing that brought her to the forefront of the national medical scene, media, having written a best-selling book about the miracle of magnesium. But since that time, she has catapulted herself and the public and have catapulted her to a level of true impact as a public health educator and as a researcher and as one who is helping the whole of our public here in the United States and around the world navigate this incredible situation to find peace of mind and wisdom and clarity about how to saturate your body, how to keep yourself healthy and safe, how to make good decisions for your family, and how to intervene on behalf of others. We're going to talk about all that tonight. And we're going to focus on vitamin D because it's our topic, but we're going to be focusing even more than that on you, because you are our audience. You're the people who matter. You're why we're here. And you're the ones that we care to talk with, help, impact, support, and encourage in this time. Now, let me say, if you've gotten our email, you've seen us on social media, you've been twittered, something of that nature. If you've joined us through YouTube, which we hope you have, you've got plenty of opportunities to interact with Dr. Dean tonight through our chat line. You can call in to the show using a Zoom network call. So the number's weird and long, but we will recite it for you and you can pick it up through our emails. And you can also come into our chat here on YouTube, where we talk with each other, play, interact, and all those other good things. Before we bring Dr. Dean on, I just want to remind you, this is not a medical advice show. Dr. Dean cannot give medical advice, but this is a common sense, no nonsense show about how you can do very good things for yourself, and you're going to need to, because this is going to get worse before it gets better. I am afraid, Carolyn. And without further ado, our very own lovely, magnanimous, beautiful, dynamic, and totally delicious Dr. Carolyn Dean.
And there are the children. Yes, Ginny is fired up and I'm fired up. I think I fired Ginny up and then she fired me up. This is important week. And we don't spend a lot of time sort of quote pushing our products, but we have a sale, just so happens this week, our midwinter sale. And I'm saying this is just so important because of the timing. And I'm going to say these words, they sound kind of negative, but we always have to be prepared. I was a Girl Guide up in Canada. I reached the highest ranks of Girl Guidedom, and I was always prepared. And we have to be prepared right now, because seriously, if the internet goes down, if you don't get your emails, if you can't get to us on the internet through our website, our phone lines will be up and running. The phone number is on your bottles of products. So just put that in the back of your mind. Okay, I can phone in my order. But just so you know, this week you could be purchasing the, what have we got, Ginny? We're featuring the 16-ounce bottles of Remag and Remite, because that's family size, it's cost savings, plus it's 22% off on top of that. Along with that, it's a family size Realign. And we put our vitamin C reset berry powder on sale, because the people that you love in your family and friend network, if they have told you they don't like the taste of Remag and Remite, tell them, okay, then here's your berry powder for the taste, because you have to get people on these nutrients. I'm telling you, it is so important for the upset and the stress, and also to have them on hand. This is when you need to stock up. We don't know what's going to happen in this next while. Remember the toilet paper sales? Well, this is your supplement sale that you have to pay attention to. Seriously. Ginny, what more can you add to that? I don't want to say too many negative words, but this is important, correct?
Well, it's very important. And I'll tell you, I just got done watching one of the most shattering and compelling things I've seen about this whole environment we're in, including the recommendation for this Maxine. We don't even call it, we don't even want to talk about it, but I'm telling you, you want to make sure you're healthy. You've got to get your body, you've got to be on top of it. You've got to get your friends and family taken care of. Now, in the very beginning, and I'm going to post it somewhere. I'm going to post it on our chat line and stuff. Last year, March 23rd, 2020, when we were just entering into this little stormy sea, Carolyn did a great job of explaining the role of magnesium and how it interacts with the enzymes in the cells and GTPase to protect your cells against a viral attack. And I knew that night, if you had enough magnesium in your body, you would be okay. And that's what I trusted. Yeah, I flew into the warehouse the next day. I told every single person, you better be guzzling this. I don't care what have. I don't care if you have the laxative effect you want. I want everybody to be drinking this stuff until it runs out of your ear. And of course, nobody has been sick. But the point is that out of all the sung heroes, as we know, vitamin C, we know vitamin D, we know zinc, But those are all things to combat something. Magnesium is going to protect it from even impacting your body. You've got to understand that it's not a cure, blah, blah, but it is preventative. And the Remite has enough zinc, selenium, and iodine in it. If it's used daily, you will be okay. Every single person you know and care about has got to have this in their cupboard. They've just got to. You've just got to be taking it.
And we're not saying, we choose our words because we don't want to be deplatformed. We choose our words to say you're boosting your immune system, you're supporting your immune system. And these things are known, but just because of the forces that be at play, wanting to make this an economic pandemic and not a curative pandemic, we are not going to be told the truth about what's happening. Doctors who are trying to tell the truth or use nutrients or even hydroxychloroquine are being fired right, left, and center because, look at how medicine has devolved. When I was in private practice, I did what I did. I would give out homeopathic remedies. I was making homeopathic remedies in my office with a machine out of the UK. And when a virus came along, I would gather the symptoms and then I would match them to a remedy and create the remedy for that virus. And nobody stopped me. I mean, they started to stop me when I started talking on the radio about natural medicine. That was my doom call right there when you go public. But anyway, so then what happened, especially in the States, is the medicine went into the HMOs. And the HMOs meant that the doctors were no longer their own bosses. They had to follow the will of their employer. And, what Ginny's talking about, and, we won't say her name on the show. Ginny's talking about doctors who've been fired for using other than I guess the vaccine or the expensive drugs for this condition. So that leaves it up to you, the individual, to take care of yourself, as we said, and your family, and use the nutrients that work. And I've known for a decade, as Ginny's been saying, that this picometer size Remag, and we're proving it in research studies. I mean, we can show people the research if they come after us, but even so, we're not allowed to say that Remag treats any disease. If I say Remag treats a disease, then the FDA can say to me, well, you've made Remag a drug because only drugs can treat disease. So therefore, you have to do the $1 billion research study to prove Remag treats this disease. It would take $65 billion for me to do research on all 65 conditions that may be affected by magnesium deficiency, affected or caused. So that's where we say to people, you have a magnesium deficiency condition. So all those words being said, I hope you take my meaning and Ginny's meaning that we're here to help you support your own health, take responsibility for your own health. Fortunately, I've been blessed with being able to access the formulas and the chemist and the chemistry to put these formulas together that work. And our blog today just happens to be tips to improve your vitamin D response, because all these nutrients work together. They can't help themselves. And what happens in medicine when they just decide finally to do a study on a nutrient, they just take the one nutrient and kind of push everything else aside and decide whether or not that nutrient is saving your life. And because they won't measure these nutrients together as a process, as we are doing with grassroots health, because they just measure one thing at a time, they usually come up with a negative response. Well, no, vitamin D by itself doesn't cure cancer. And then they make a headline that says vitamin D, no, why bother taking vitamin D? And this is all kind of an alignment with big pharma, who doesn't want you to take vitamins because they'll take away from drug therapy and their drug monopoly and their economic monopoly on your health. So the blog that came out this morning, tips to improve your vitamin D response, or just improving your vitamin D response. If you get the email, it's a great email. Brian's doing the emails now, and he's got these boxes of how important is vitamin D. Deficiency in vitamin D is associated with increased susceptibility to infection. Immune function is highly dependent on vitamin D metabolism. B cells, T cells, antigen cells enable vitamin D to play a role in both innate and adaptive immune responses. Very important information. And this email, be sure and open up your Monday morning emails, because if you want to come to the show, you can click the little green boxes if you want to just listen live. If you want to call in, the phone number and the ID is there. So the emails are great to give you that information. I just got done saying a minute ago, well, what if our internet is shut down? What if emails about dietary supplements are suddenly blocked? Because people's emails are being blocked. Go to our phone number. If the internet is still working, go to our website. You may notice when you go there to order for this wonderful sale. I'm going there now. RNAreset.com. We've got a new website. Chad's been working around the clock to put up this beautiful website that's I guess it's a lot more user friendly for cell phones. Is it, Ginny?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's just a beautiful website. It's you go to the store and you have a list of liquid minerals, vitamins, other, and in specific cases. So it's kind of helps define things. Now that we've got so many products, which I never thought I'd have, but with all this hoopla about COVID, which is only fatal in 0.03% of cases of people who have all kinds of comorbidities and, are succumbing to, their own ill health at the same time. So we want people to not be afraid of coronavirus, but at the same time, fear is huge. And if you can take your dietary supplements, which have no side effects, but just improve your immune system, then you can release the fear. You don't have to be scared of catching something. I mean, think about it, Ginny. Before all this, it was kind of common for the average person to get, 3 or 4 colds a year. I mean, that's what's common. And unfortunately now, if you get a cold, then it scares you. If you go to your doctor, you may be put on drugs or put on a respirator, for Pete's sakes, that you don't need. So with nutrients, they're going to help you not get a cold. If you're exposed to people who are whatever, sneezing or coughing, come home and take your Pico Silver in your little nasal syringe bottle and squirt Pico Silver up your nostrils. A keto in Japan was telling me he got into some sort of bronchitis and they wanted to do the whole COVID thing on him, but he started nebulizing Pico Silver and zinc. And he found with the zinc, he just diluted it with filtered water, not even saline. And he found that that was good. It's harsh, straight. The Pico zinc is harsh, straight. Pico Silver, you can take straight. It's not harsh. But these are things that I talk about in the book, Total Body Immunity. I lay it all out for people to have these things in hand if you do have any symptoms. Okay, so improving your vitamin D response. I'm gonna have to go and mute myself for 2 seconds so I can get rid of this frog in my throat, Ginny. Where am I? There I am. Okay, hang on.
While you're doing that, Carolyn, I will say this. I had an experience. I had to fly this last week. First of all, it was the very best flight of my life because seriously, before this COVID, now here's the silver lining story. Before this COVID took off, you would get on that little aluminum bubble with the sickest people who were in terrible shape physically. Probably half of them did have colds or some kind of an infection. They were all, I mean, everybody piled into that thing, oversold the flight, everybody sipping on top of each other. They're passing stuff around, this and that. I mean, it was just a big germ fest. And I have been in a situation where I've been flying cross country and got off a plane knowing I was sick. I mean, you get it when you're on the freaking plane. Well, now these planes are incredible. They've got everything figured out, and you are not going to get sick on a plane unless you're just super determined to do that. But they're spraying stuff during the flight, running around misting things, and all the surfaces were super clean. Everything was handed to you with the most appropriate way. Everybody had a mask on, this and that. I mean, I just got off that plane. I was like, I just know I'm not going to be sick, and I'm so very happy about all that. The other thing I want to say is I took my nebulizer with Pico Silver and zinc in it. I put my Pico Silver, a teaspoon. I do not dilute that. And I put 10 drops of Pico zinc in it. And that zinc, boy, I'll tell you, bam, bam. That is really cool stuff. If you do not have a nebulizer yet, you're going to want to get one on Amazon. They're very easy to use. I have there's Carolyn probably frantically texting me and I'm not even paying attention. There she is. When you take that zinc in, it's like a tequila floater. It just gives a nice little boom to that silver. And so we had total confidence traveling. I mean, it was just not an issue. I would use the little Mr. nebulizer thing when we would come in from being out running around, and we were in a place where it didn't require masks and things, and we weren't wearing them because we have total confidence in our bodies anyway, but just an extra little zoot zoot. And how fun was that? And we feel amazing. And I do think just there's something wonderful about the Pico Silver in general, Carolyn, right? For your lungs and for your whole body. And it's a wonderful way to kind of use it.
Right. It wasn't until I researched silver to make the Pico Silver that I realized the many levels and layers of silver's action or activity in the body. I mean, it helps produce stem cells, for Pete's sakes. So people are getting these stem cell transplants, and they could just be taking Pico Silver. It is quite incredible, And you have to remember that silver is still used in burn units as the best thing to heal people with these total body horrible burns. They impregnate gauze material in silver compounds and then just lay them on the body and watch it heal. So if it's that powerful, why aren't we using it more and more? And the answer is, of course, it's not patented. Nobody makes a big, $1 billion off silver. So it's blackballed. But you know about it, you're taking it, and just keep taking it. It is very important. So you're saying you just put a few drops of zinc in with your Pico Silver. That is a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know how it would work, and I was afraid because zinc is harsh.
Mhm.
Our products are just so concentrated, but I just put 10 drops in with my silver, and it was great. And you could just feel a nice little kick. First couple times I did it, kind of like just a little kick at the back of my throat, just a little
Mm.
hello, I'm in here. And then after that, it was great. And boy, I'm just so glad I did. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll do it that
Very
way
good.
from now on in. Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. So yeah, you have your zinc bottle. You pour some in a dropper bottle and then have it ready to drop into your nebulizer. Just line everything up. Put your Pico Silver in the nasal syringe that I talked about, because that's the way I've been using my. Instead of a nebulizer, Ginny, I've been using my Pico Silver, just spraying it in my nostrils. So
Mm.
what I'll do with that nasal spray bottle is just put a couple of drops of zinc in it. That's going to be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so back to today's blog. You can look at your email that was sent to you. It's at drcarolynlive.com. And basically, as Ginny was saying, magnesium is an important factor in the immune system. But what it does with vitamin D is it makes vitamin D work, period, full stop, exclamation mark. You have to have magnesium in 8 steps of the whole assembly of activated vitamin D. And what happens with people who actually, if we get to the case later on, a listener from last week said that her vitamin D wasn't improving. And I figured it was probably because she wasn't taking enough Remag in order to make her vitamin D work. Her Remag was busy doing other things in the body. So if you don't have enough magnesium, your vitamin D might not absorb properly, might not be activated, and therefore it's not going to show up. And the other nutrients that are important, and Jenny has them listed in her blog. Vitamin K2, that's in our D3 K2. So that is important. If people are just taking straight D3, they're not getting the benefits of a combination of the D3 K2 that work together. Vitamin D is grabbing calcium, and in order to direct that calcium to the bones, you need vitamin K2 and magnesium. So that's what can happen to people who just take high dose vitamin D3 is they can build up a lot of calcium and cause calcification problems. And calcification is related to aging. To prevent calcium from building up in soft tissues where it's not needed, you need your vitamin K2 and your magnesium. The other nutrients, vitamin B6 and B12, that's in our Realign. Vitamin C, of course, in our Whole C Reset, which is our food-based vitamin C, and in our vitamin C Reset, which is our ascorbic acid for high dose vitamin C therapy. vitamin C in high dose is very antiviral. And probiotics also help vitamin D work. And our probiotics, they're in our soil-based Flora Revive and Flora Revive Light. We don't have, do we have Flora Revive Light yet, Ginny?
Not yet. It's on its way.
Aha. So soon we'll be talking about the wonders of Flora Revive Light.
That's right.
The wonders. And it's mainly that Flora Revive is an antifungal probiotic. Flora Revive Light is a probiotic without the antifungal component. So if you don't want to be taking an antifungal every day, then you're in luck. You can take Flora Revive Light. And the other key vitamin D nutrients include boron, which is in Remite, and zinc, which is in Remite, and your Pico Zinc. So we've got it all covered with the support for our vitamin D. And for more information on vitamin D, people do email us and thank us for sending them to Grassroots Health. They are I guess it's a nonprofit organization that's doing clinical research on nutrients in combination. It's finally someone who realizes that nutrients work together, and they approached us because they heard from Dr. McCullough actually that I'm an expert in magnesium, and he knows that vitamin D activation needs magnesium, so he thought it would be a good match, and it certainly is. And when you go to Grassroots Health under their resources, they have wonderful articles and documentation, or their blog probably is the best for the articles. And that in the email, Ginny has the link to the article that we're referencing. And what we're doing of late with our Grassroots Health, we do have the at-home or in-home finger prick blood spot test for red blood cell, whole blood magnesium, TSH for the thyroid, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D. But what we decided to do, because the vitamin D is something that, I mean, you can't really feel if your vitamin D is at a good level. So we have a single standalone vitamin D test for people that they can obtain through us and follow their vitamin D. Otherwise, I mean, with magnesium, we just tell people keep taking it until you feel better. And you have to be aware that a daily amount is at least a teaspoon. And for most people, it's going to be 2 teaspoons. You know, I'm coming across people now who've been taking their minerals for years, and then I say, well, how much are you on? And this one person was on a half a teaspoon, and still had some fatigue and some yeast overgrowth issues. And I said, well, you're not on enough. And so it's not really complacency. It's like you just think, well, you know, I guess I'm tired. Maybe there's other reasons. Maybe I should take something else. No, if you're only on half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of Remag and you're still having symptoms of magnesium deficiency, which you can look up anywhere, then you need to keep your Remag levels at a good amount. So the last sentence here, if you're having difficulty increasing your vitamin D levels or just beginning the journey, you'll want to tune in for tonight's show. Okay, and here you are. Thank you very much. So that's the blog. Anything to add, Ginny, that we left out?
I was muted, sorry. Nope, I think we're very good. That's great information.
Right. And actually, what I'm going to do now is there's a couple of press releases from the orthomolecular people. I'm on their board. I'll send you the URL, Ginny, that you can put on the chat. Now, these folks, they're doing some amazing stuff. January 15th, they put out, or we put out a press release called "A Health Crisis Exposed by the COVID Pandemic." And this is what we've been talking about, how it's all come to a head, all the comorbidities that people have brought them down, all the drugs they're taking have brought them down. They're at a weak point in terms of health and in terms of the fear factor that, they could get this virus and succumb. And as I said earlier, it's fatal in 0.03% of people with comorbidities. It doesn't touch, well, I'm sure you can find an exception, and that's okay. There are always exceptions, but in general, if you keep your immune system strong, you don't have to be an exception. So Ginny's putting the resources page up. It's got the index of all the press releases. I mean, there's dozens of press releases since January 2002 that we've put out. So this latest one, "A Health Crisis Exposed by the COVID Pandemic," it goes over, all the problems that Americans have. It goes over the immune system, how the immune system works, how a strong immune system can prevent a viral infection. And, some of the things that I guess we don't talk a lot about, nutrition, avoiding stress, avoiding toxins, avoiding sugar, sleeping well, the importance of exercise and extra supplements to boost immunity. But I think for our audience, it's pretty much common sense. We have a very educated audience that, for the most part, have worked through all these things. They're trying to avoid glutens and sugars, etc., and they're still not well. And that's where the importance of fully absorbed supplements or nutrients is what makes the difference. And this press release talks about very high risk factors, which is low vitamin D, intestinal disorders. This is people with IBS and gluten sensitivity, etc. But we, quote, overcome that because our nutrients, especially the minerals in the picometer size and the stabilized ions, do not depend on intestinal absorption. So you're absorbing those minerals, in your mouth, in your esophagus, in your stomach, in your upper intestines. So they don't require an intact gastrointestinal tract. However, as you're taking these nutrients, they will help normalize your intestinal tract. High risk factors include chronic illness. Moderate risk factors are high blood pressure, high cholesterol, prediabetes, early onset dementia, and obesity. And that's what we focus on with our magnesium deficiency symptoms that are treated as diseases. I would say the high blood pressure, and I don't know what percentage. We'll do the research, we'll do the studies and give you numbers down the road. But I'd say the majority of early high blood pressure is related to magnesium deficiency. And then it's made worse by taking the high blood pressure medications, which cause more magnesium deficiency. High cholesterol, similar magnesium deficiency, pre-diabetes. Even in the allopathic medical books, they talk about one of the signs of diabetes is low magnesium. Early onset dementia, Now that can be heavy metals in the brain, which require magnesium in order to help metabolize them and eliminate them, along with our Realign, which is has amino acid precursors to glutathione. And obesity, we do focus on the ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting. There's a book on obesity that I've written. It's free at drcarolyndeanlive.com. And the sugar book is very important. Sugar Without the Icing is the title. And then moderate risk factors, they talk about immune system challenges. This is still the Orthomolecular News Service blog. They talk about use of prescription medications, which often deplete important nutrients and challenge the liver to break down the medication and remove it from the body, is an immune system challenge. Also, low levels of vitamin C is an immune system challenge. And sugar and vitamin C, if you pick up the sugar book, Sugar Without the Icing, I talk about how sugar competes with vitamin C to get into the cells. If there's more sugar than vitamin C, then the vitamin C doesn't make it into the cells. The sugar does. And then the sugar causes problems in the cells. Whereas if you had vitamin C unopposed by sugar, vitamin C would get into the cells and act as an antiviral. It's that simple. So all these things that this press release goes into, just to remind you of dietary factors, chewing your food, lifestyle factors. It reads like my modules, my lifestyle modules that I wrote many years ago. And then they have a section on long-term cellular damage with COVID. Now, and I've said before, with COVID, just any flu virus can cause 20% of people to continue with symptoms. And that is going to be in people whose immune system is already at risk and they're not recovering because they don't have nutrients. And then they list a number, the nutrients we're talking about, vitamin C and D. They do mention vitamin E, and that's coming to you soon with our omega-3 algae formula that also contains vitamins A and E. And they talk about the niacin, which is in our Realign, and all the B vitamins. Magnesium, they put it down at number 6. Of course, we put it at 1. And zinc and probiotics and omega-3 fatty acids. And they do mention curcumin, turmeric, that is important. But I mean, I'll just leave it at our minerals and vitamins. My concern with turmeric and any other herbs is that they're not organic and you don't know where they've come from. So sometimes the pesticides and herbicides and even heavy metals in these herbs can be more of a problem than the herb itself can be helpful. So that's, it's a long article, and you can go through it. Ginny's put the URL on the chat line. And then Nutrition to Treat and Prevent COVID-19, January 17th, 2 days later, came out. And it's very similar, just giving a lot of the studies that prove that these nutrients are important. And what we did with this article was kind of isolated it to 5 different nutrients to try to make it easier for people. So it's vitamin C, 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day. Now, what you're getting with the vitamin C reset berry powder is 2,000 milligrams in a scoop. I will take my 1 scoop with all my minerals and be sipping that through the day and swallowing my vitamins with that mix. But most days I'll take another scoop and put it in a cup of kefir and stir that up and have the most delicious berry flavored kefir drink. Their second one is vitamin D. They say 5,000 units. I'm taking 10,000. I'm taking 2 of our D3K2. Magnesium, they say 400 milligrams. And with our Remag, I'm saying, at least 2 teaspoons a day. In the beginning, most of our total body meltdown people need 3 and 4 teaspoons. And then you can work back to 2 teaspoons. Zinc, they're saying 20 milligrams a day. Our Pico Zinc has 10 milligrams per half teaspoon. And the absorption of it would be equivalent, at least equivalent to the 20 milligrams of a tablet. And they have selenium as well. And we have that in our Remite. So we do have you covered. So I think that's enough words from me, Jenny. If you'd like to do chats and phone calls, we can go there. Unless you have something to add.
I want to see if yes, I'm off. Now, one thing that kind of caught me, and I'm just skedaddling over to our website really quick to look, is I thought our zinc was 20 milligrams for a half teaspoon. So I'm looking at our label. Because
I know.
I think it's different, but I can't find okay, here's the label on here. Let's see what it says.
How can we possibly remember everything?
We can't. It is. No. It's 20 milligrams for a half teaspoon.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It is. It is awesome. And that makes it a very affordable product too, because you're getting such a high quality zinc. That's why you can get away with such little amount in your nebulizer. It's really such a high quality product. So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So I wanted to just clear that up. And then I absolutely love that article. And I'm sharing it with 1,000 people as we're talking through my, texting and emails and stuff, because this is the one you read, Carolyn, the health crisis and all the recommendations. It helps sometimes when it's from an independent body, so to speak, where it's not like, blah, blah, us. And because I'm telling, my peeps all the time, you want to make sure you've got your tracks covered with all this stuff. So it's just another great way for people to break it down. And I did share the link on YouTube and on the chat line. And we're really going to ask our audience to help us this year. I think more than ever before, our radio audience, help us dig in, reach out, get this to people after the show's over. Share the link now. Invite people to come into the conversation while the radio show is live. You're on your YouTube right now. Just share it with your friends and say, hey, I'm listening to a great show and you're going to want to know this. So it's really important to get people well informed. The incredible cognitive dissonance with the amount of misinformation that's out there. But well-researched information, which Carolyn always presents, and especially what we're sharing here tonight, is the basis of what people can build as a springboard to then verify and corroborate the information that's presented, and they can make their own decision from there. And that's what we're always encouraging people to do. We do have questions on the chat line. I want to give a love shout out to our most precious Belinda, who's been one of our faithful listeners forever and ever, down in the great state of Florida. She said she has a bottle of Pico Silver at the kitchen sink, Carolyn. And when people come to her house, she just lets them use it. It's a little spray bottle. They can spray it right into their mouth or on their hands and stuff like that to encourage them to use that if they want to when they're in her home. And she also wanted to ask you, when you're talking about sugars, are you only referring to refined sugars? What about fruits, berries, grapefruit, that kind of thing?
Right. Well, it is the refined sugars plus, unfortunately, Belinda, it's the fructose in fruit as well, because it's the people who kind of overdose on fruits that can get a high triglyceride, and the fructose is metabolized differently than glucose or sucrose, and it's metabolized in the liver and puts a strain on the liver. So it's good that you're mentioning the berries, because they're the less well, they say glycemic, but they have the least amount of sugar, and I guess grapefruit would too. And that's what I kind of try to isolate myself to. I talked about my berry dessert with heavy whipping cream, and that's ice cream. I mean, I took it to a little gathering yesterday. Actually, Ginny, it was a Mardi Gras party. Apparently,
Oh,
yesterday was the first day of Mardi Gras, and the hostess ordered a king cake, King cake, from New Orleans for the Mardi Gras. Apparently, the king cake comes with a little baby Jesus in the center of it, and the person who cuts, starts eating the baby Jesus is blessed. I mean, did you know that Mardi Gras was a religious holiday? Can you imagine women bearing their breasts for Jesus? It's just so bizarre. But it is, it's the 40 days up until, I suppose, Lent, or, whatever. I don't understand the whole thing. I have to look it up. But we were Googling it all night, trying to figure out, what are we celebrating here? But anyway, what was I talking about?
you were talking about the sugar at the cake and the party and things like that.
All right. So we had the cake, and I brought a mix of, chopped up frozen strawberries, frozen blueberries, and sort of rubbed some frozen raspberries up to break them up. You don't even have to cut them. And that with a whole whack of heavy whipping cream made this delicious ice cream, and everybody just raved about it. And a personal amount, I just cut up like 2 strawberries, a few dozen blueberries, a dozen or so raspberries, and it makes a whole cup of ice cream with the heavy whipping cream. And actually, I put in some cacao powder and make it a chocolate strawberry.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm. And it's sweet enough, the berries are sweet enough, to neutralize the bitterness of the cacao. So I think that's a very safe dessert. But yeah, I can OD on fruit here. Ryan up at the farm, he has the most exotic fruits, what is passion fruit and all the mangoes. Anyway, let's not talk about it.
Well, Belinda's point. So what are fruit lovers supposed to do, Carolyn? I mean, do they limit the amount of carbs? Do they moderate their number of servings? Or they to avoid it altogether? What's the action that they can take here?
Well, I guess, I mean, my ODing on fruit will activate my yeast overgrowth. I mean, right now I have a tiny little soreness in my nose, which is a tiny little staphylococcal boil. And that's my clue that I've been eating too much sugar. So you kind of have to know what it does to you. Does it give you gas and bloating, which means it's feeding yeast in your intestines? Do you feel, more tired? Do you sleep a little more irritably? You have to figure out how you feel with it and without it, sugar and fruit. I would do a modified yeast diet, and maybe avoid all fruit, all sugar for a week, and see how you feel. And then have a whole meal of fruit and see how that makes you feel. You have to do the experiment. It's not possible to tell every individual how they're going to react. You do the experiment. Yep.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, let's also talk to, we've got 3 minutes before the top of the hour when we're going to have to transition into our break. But let me just see if we can get this question answered for Kathy, who says, I'm concerned about the amount of iodine in Remite, which would be 150 micrograms. This is high for someone with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Now, I don't remember 150 micrograms being the dose in Remite, so I had to look that up to see what our label claim is, because I don't remember the iodine being like that. And it turns out that it's, come on, what is it doing here?
Iodine, yeah, it is 75 micrograms per 3/4 teaspoon serving. So if you're taking the 2 doses to 1.5, it will be 150 micrograms. Now, the thing about the iodine and Hashimoto's.
Okay, but Carolyn, let me just say, but it's only 50% of the daily value. And that's the thing that people want to understand, is that it's, if you were to take the 2 doses at 150, that is 100% of the daily value. And what has happened at the FDA is they're constantly doing things, and the daily value changes, and we're up to date on all these daily values. So you're not doing anything risky or overdosing on what's being recommended for an iodine intake according to the FDA. Go ahead, Carolyn.
Okay, so what Kathy's talking about is Hashimoto's. Is there too much iodine for Hashimoto's? Because Hashimoto's is, an inflammation of the thyroid. It's like an autoimmune disease. But the reason why iodine is not helpful for Hashimoto's is because people are deficient in selenium. They can't do the next step of breaking down the biochemistry that iodine creates. So a little extra iodine creates a biochemical reaction, creates a substrate substance that just sits there and irritates the thyroid. However, if you have enough selenium, which we have in Remite, the 40 micrograms, you break down that substrate and you just move along to your proper hormone production. I'm sure in the thyroid book, I talk about that. I talk about the research of iodine and Hashimoto's, and how standalone iodine may be a problem, but if you have selenium and the 9 minerals that are important for thyroid hormone production, you're fine. It's just, the imbalance of too much iodine, or people saying iodine is the only thing to treat thyroid and not realizing there are 9 minerals involved. So let's ask Kathy if that makes sense to her.
Okay, Kathy, give us your feedback on that. She's right here on the YouTube chat with me. And then we will come back at the top of the hour and we will update all this information. She said for Hashimoto's it is high, but given Carolyn's explanation, do you feel more comfortable with that? So let's look at that together when we get back from our station identification break here on Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. We'll be right back, everybody.
We'll be back with Hour 2 of the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with host Ginny Sanders, right after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com. That's drcarolyndean.com.
Did you know there are 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency? Magnesium deficiency is a public health crisis growing in scope and proportion. Dr. Carolyn Dean, author of the Magnesium Miracle, has identified over 65 health conditions associated with magnesium deficiency, 100 factors that lead to magnesium deficiency, and 24 reasons why magnesium deficiency occurs. Order the Magnesium Miracle today at Amazon.com and learn how to remedy this pervasive condition.
Do you have questions about your health? Are you wondering about alternatives? Do you ever wish you could have 5 minutes with a doctor you can trust? Someone who is an internationally recognized authority in the field of natural medicine? Meet award-winning doctor, naturopath, and best-selling author of the Magnesium Miracle, Carolyn Dean, MD, ND. Hear a wealth of information designed to empower listeners and callers to discover how to improve health, vitality, and well-being through a variety of safe strategies and nutritional options. Dr. Carolyn Dean Live. Shows can be heard every Monday, 7 to 9 a.m. Eastern, with weekly live shows, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 radio network.
Natural health, vitality, and well-being. Yes, everyone wants it, but not everyone is sure how to achieve it. Dr. Carolyn Dean's Completement Formulas are more than just dietary supplements. They're whole foods and picometer minerals designed to complete your nutrition, not just supplement it. Experience the difference Dr. Dean's formulas make. Visit RNAreset.com to learn more. That's RNARESET.com.
Omega Institute, offering workshops, retreats, and online learning dedicated to awakening the best in the human spirit. With more than 40 years at the forefront of holistic studies, Omega is known the world over as a trusted source for integrated approaches to personal growth and social change. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org or call 877-944-2002. Again, 877-944-2002.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
Return now to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show, along with her host, cohort, and good buddy, Ginny Sanders. Phone lines are open during live broadcast.
Welcome back, everybody. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting humankind with universal love and uniting Dr. Carolyn Dean with the rest of the world. And boy, does the rest of the world need Dr. Carolyn Dean. It needs a lot of love too, people. Ain't no joke there. But it definitely needs our very precious Dr. Carolyn Dean, who, by the way, is an incredible gift of love herself. And always doubling down on the goodness with Dr. Dean for sure. Now, Back to hour 2, here's where we get into our good, juicy, fun phone calls. It just usually flows that way. So I want to let everybody know that if you are on the phone tonight at area code 646-558-8656, 646-558-8656, you have to dial in with ID 8836953587 and then come on to the show. You've got to also hit *9, all this number pressing, *9 to talk with Dr. Dean. Raise your hand, and then we're going to put you on with her. We've got some callers waiting, so we're going to get to those. And also, I have a follow-up comment on our YouTube channel from our good friend Kathy, who said, thank you for that information. There's lots of conversation these days on having a low iodine diet for Hashimoto's. So I think you answered Kathy's questions, and now she can ponder that very good information you gave her, Carolyn.
Right. Yeah. That's sort of the, the theory that one thing is going to help you or hurt you. And you cannot take iodine in isolation. I guess that's what really kind of concerned me a couple of years ago when a book came out about using 50 milligrams of iodine for breast cancer. And yes, if you got breast cancer, maybe that's, freaks you out enough that you're going to take high dose of iodine, but a certain percentage of people, it blew out their thyroids because the iodine in the assembly line of the thyroid hormones made too much of a substrate that then had nowhere to go. So I guess we have this saying about we want to help everybody without fail or exception. And you cannot say that, well, you help some and you hurt some. I'm not going to recommend something like 50 milligrams or even 12.5 milligrams with the other dose of iodine because I know that it's too much. I don't know if there's a term called iodine poisoning, but it's too much. And then remember what we went through with vitamin D3 when I was more against high dose vitamin D3 before, maybe it was before I had Remag and before I put the two together and said, well, you have to have Remag if you're going to take higher dose vitamin D3. And we had people, emailing us and saying, well, I take 50,000 units of vitamin D3 and I've never felt better. And we would just say, well, good, more power to you. But, buddy across the street, if you write a book and say vitamin D3 is a cure and they take it and it drops their magnesium levels to such an extent they get atrial fibrillation and die of a blood clot, whose fault is that? So we just have to be so careful about telling people, go slowly and look at the whole picture. And the whole vitamin D3 business, I learned when I did the grassroots health testing, my vitamin D level's 19. And I was even saying it should be at least 30 or 40. Now with grassroots health, we know it should be 40 to 60. And if you're trying to prevent or prevent recurrence of, or maybe prevent breast cancer from having a family history, you want to be 90. And when I took my 10,000 units of vitamin D3 for 5 months, and my level went to 53 from 19, at the same time, my very high level of magnesium, which was like 65, dropped down to, I think it was 48. So I was using up my magnesium. Now, if I only started with a low level of magnesium and it dropped further, that pushes me into magnesium deficiency. So you get the picture of needing a balance. And and not using anything except magnesium in high doses. Because the thing about magnesium, even Remag, if you're sipping it through the day, if your body gets overloaded after you've been taking it for, 6, 9, 12 months, if you start getting a bit of the laxative effect, then you're getting saturated. If you get the laxative effect on day one, it's because you've taken too much to begin with, you've overloaded your cells, and it's dumping through your intestines, or you're detoxing, or you have yeast overgrowth. And that's why customer service is lined up, ready to talk to you so that you understand the difference. So there.
Right on. Very good. Excellent. So there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, thank you, Kathy. Kathy's also asking, is non-iodized salt fine for the water?
No, it has to be sea salt. Yes, and sea salt, it has its own natural iodine, but don't get a refined plain sea salt. It has no minerals in it. Just plain white salt is just sodium chloride, whereas a good sea salt that has some color to it, it will have supposedly about 72 different minerals. And there hasn't been enough research on all the minerals and what they do for the body. So I just go with what nature provides us, which is sea salt, to get your minerals.
Very good. Outstanding. Outstanding. Okay, now here's the question. This is a great show, lots of information. I have cartilage rot in my knee. I heard a comment about stem cells. Is there a procedure to grow cartilage?
Cartilage rot, R-O-T?
R-O-T, yes.
Wow, that's sad. We don't say specifically, we can't say specifically. I mean, personally, what I do if I had something that required new cells, I would be taking Pico Silver and also Remag. I'd be taking all the nutrients because it's collagen, that's your vitamin C, all the nutrients to build up those areas. But I don't personally, that's what I do. I don't know, who this person is or the age or what has happened. And it's amazing, Jenny, the way they come up with these new terms. I have never heard of cartilage rot. It sounds terrible. I don't know why doctors use these words that just make you think you're doomed. It's very sad.
Yeah, that very sad. Exactly. All it is cartilage crying for love.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Carolyn, remember the gal who healed her rotator cuff with the
Pico Silver?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not sure what provoked that, but
well, that was what I think it was is the joints, and maybe the knee joint here is subject to this. The joints will take on the burden of a subclinical infection to keep it from damaging internal organs. And the Chinese define that with their talk of meridians, and particularly the divergent meridians. And the divergent meridians diverted infections from the internal organs to the periphery, to the joints, to protect the internal organs. So that came to mind when our customer said, oh my gosh, I think she had two, both shoulders had rotator cuff problems, and she took our Pico Silver. And this was a woman whose husband had done research for a company years ago about colloidal silver, and they had used silver a lot, but it wasn't until Pico Silver that she said it shifted for her. And it's because when you think about cartilage and when you read about cartilage, it really doesn't have blood vessels. So it's hard to get nutrients into cartilage. But these picometer stabilized ions, they can go anywhere. So they have the best chance of getting into these areas. And I'd be using Remag liquid on my knees, transdermally, maybe even Pico Silver transdermally as well. And just allowing your body to know that that it can heal, just determining for yourself that, look, the body's constantly renewing itself. If I give it the building blocks, if I have something like Pico Silver that stimulates stem cell production, those stem cells are going to make a beeline for the knee and make me some cartilage. So you be positive.
Yeah.
And you don't question your positivity. And I've said this many times, if I get a little twinge somewhere, I just say, oh, hello, thank you, goodbye, and ignore it, and it does go away. But heaven forbid, cartilage rot in the knees sounds horrible. And if this person gets to the point of needing a knee surgery replacement, it's very important to have all your nutrients in place so you can heal. Because the biggest problem with people who will do a surgery or even stem cell treatments or all this, they just go back to their old lifestyle and lack of nutrients, and they get the condition back again.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's what he's saying. 83 years old. The doctor wants to replace his knee. The cartilage is just worn away.
Right.
So,
Right.
And that's just it's just so common. Oh, just slice it. It's so weird to think about it. I mean, for me at least, because I'm not a doctor. They literally take your whole leg apart, right, Carolyn? Because they cut one part of your leg off here and then another part of your leg off here, and then they stick a big metal thing in there, right?
Well, I mean, the back part of the leg is still attached. It's not like they slice it up like a
Okay.
salami. Okay, not that bad.
Just shows you what I don't know, because I'm not a doctor. But I just think when somebody says, and they got these big scars and everything, which is fine, a lot of people do it, and whatever. But I thought, oh my God, did they just cut it in half? So apparently not. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
And people we certainly have many customers who've had hip and knee replacements mostly, and they do so much better when they're on the products. They really heal so much faster and recover so much faster. So there's that to think about as well.
Yeah, and the anesthesia, which is a big thing, the toxicity of that. So you really do want to have your body prepared, and ask your knee what it wants. Does it want to be replaced? Just talk to it and say, hey, buddy, are you thinking you want to be replaced here now? Or you thinking you want to kick in and do some more fun stuff? And what are you up to? Because it's all animated and alive, and it's all part of you. And you can talk to I talk to my body parts all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Very good.
Okay, now, we had a question here. I just want to put it in the record because Scott asked, is Chinese salt equal to pink Himalayan salt? And Chinese salt, which is called Hashimoto, is actually MSG. So that's not trace mineral sea salt, Scott. But pink Himalayan salt is definitely a sea salt. And there's Celtic salt, there's real salt, and there's pink Himalayan sea salt. And when you go to buy it, all you want to make sure on the label that it says on the label is trace minerals. And the pink Himalayan's pink, and the Celtic is grayish, and the real salt is mined in the salt mines in Utah, and that is white. Those are the three different kinds that have those valuable trace minerals. Dr. Dean wrote a great article. It's called Sea Salt Superfood. You can Google it. I'll post it here on the YouTube link, and it gives another good explanation about why sea salt is so valuable for you, your hydration, and your body. So you'll enjoy learning about all that. One thing I wanted to also mention is that Corinne asked early in the hour last time, Carolyn, is it true that people with MS should not take anything to improve the immune system since it is attacking the myelin sheath?
Right. I've heard that. I mean, I heard that years ago around vitamin E. Uh, Taking vitamin E to boost the immune system, would it hurt the body? No, I just think that's a bunch of words. I think with MS, we're talking about autoimmune and definite mineral, especially magnesium deficiency. And if you treat the yeast overgrowth with the autoimmune problem and give yourself minerals, there's a good chance of supporting the body in terms of the myelin sheath. That does get into omega-3 fatty acids. So that's something to look at as well. The myelin sheath, it can be attacked or irritated or inflamed with many things. It's like a protective covering, and it's subject to, as I said, inflammation. So yeast overgrowth and our minerals would be the way to start, and not worry about feeding it. It reminds me actually, Corinne, of people who say you shouldn't give yourself nutrients if you've got intestinal organisms that could benefit from the nutrients. It's like, well, that yeah, starve yourself to death and the bugs are going to die too, but that's no help. If you boost your immune system, then the organisms just don't hang around, because it's a bigger job for them to try to infect someone who's healthy. That's the whole premise of our radish experiment. We put the RNA and that's something for MS, and actually for our gentleman with the knee rot. I hate that word, but knee deterioration. Our RNA reset drops have that the life force factor that we proved in our radish experiment. We just took the dregs of our RNA reset drops, which are a barley mash, a dried barley mash. We dug it into the soil, planted radish seeds. 25 days later, compared that plot with a plot where we did not use what we call our mighty mash. And the plot with the mighty mash produced 85 pounds of viable, gorgeous radishes that could be sold. And the other plot without the mighty mash and no amendments only produced 3 pounds. So and the plot without the mighty mash, it had weeds, and the radishes were all wormy and eaten and tiny and scraggly. And the mighty mash plot, it really did not have weeds, and there were no worms. So I determined that if something is healthy and happy and viable, then parasites just take a pass, because their prime directive actually is to only go after weak and dying plants. And it's the same with humans. The autoimmuneness is our body kind of weak and vulnerable. So it is subject to yeast overgrowth, viruses, et cetera. So this is where we just have to keep ourselves healthy.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that is what Dr. Dean is the queen of. All righty. Let's take some phone calls, Carolyn, shall we?
Oh my gosh, yes, let's do that.
Yes, let's do. Okay, we're going to go to area code 910. hit *6, unmute your phone, area code 910, and come on into the call with Dr. Dean. Hello, 910, you were there, and then you were... There you go. Very good. Welcome to the call. You're on the line with Dr. Carolyn Dean. Give us your name and comment, please.
Yeah, I'm Brad. I just got a quick question. Then you can go with someone else. What's a good potassium level? Mine came back at a 3.6.
Did you say 3.3, Brad?
3.6.
3.6. Let me look that up. How much picopotassium are you taking?
I think a half a teaspoon twice a day.
Okay.
I don't measure it by the teaspoon.
Yeah.
I just do it by the cap size.
Yeah. Well, yeah, less than 3.5 is low. So you're right near low. I'm just trying to find the range. 5 is high, so you want to be between 3.5 and 5. Well, I want people to be in the high normal. So I would think that is on the low side. Did you have, before you start taking the picopotassium, did you have a level?
I did, but I can't remember.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
the muscle twitching, that's why I was asking.
Right. Okay. So here it is, Brad. I got it. Maintain a level between 3.6 to 5.2. Now, you know what your doctor would say if you've got 3.6, they'd say, oh, that's great. That's great. I wouldn't. You know, I want you to be in the high normal, because I've read somewhere that like 100% of people are low in potassium. Now you can't, I don't think it's that much, but you know, I think I would want to be like 4.8 to 5. So that's what you should aim for. And I'd say that I would go up to 2 teaspoons of picopotassium. That's what I take, because, you know, I used to have heart palpitations and all, and I needed, you know, for a year and a half, I needed 4 teaspoons of Remag. If I'd had picopotassium back then, I probably wouldn't have needed as much Remag.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yeah, so it's they work together. And so go up to 2 teaspoons. And how much Remag are you on now?
3 teaspoons a day.
Good. So are you saying you're still having twitching or something? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm still having the twitch, and it twitches like throughout the day, all day.
Now, is it less? Like what's the shift? Is there a shift in what you're experiencing?
No, not really. Pretty much the same. I mean, they different location, like my leg or foot, maybe arm.
Yeah.
Sometimes like chest, corner.
So it's moving around. It's trying to leave you. It's trying to get out of there. It just needs a little kick.
I don't know.
It's
very annoying. Like, man.
What was that, Brad?
I was saying it's very annoying.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, you know what it is. It's still your body trying to get the minerals, I think. I mean, you've been to doctors. They can't really tell you, but we're working on the minerals. But are you sleeping better? Are you feeling better? Are you less anxious? What's going on?
Well, the stress is, you know, I kind of can cope with it a little better now.
Yeah.
It ain't as intense as it was before. But it's just, you know, they say not to worry, but it's just so hard not to worry when it keep happening. So.
Right. But you know what seems to happen with people is, say you're 25% better, which you probably are, you're not going to even notice it. You're not going to notice until you're at least 50% better. So what I want you to do is just say to yourself, okay, I am getting better, you know, And don't even focus on it. Just sort of say, I'm getting better. Tomorrow's going to be even better. You got to get a little more positive about it, because I think you're getting pulled back into it by worrying, because every time it happens, you're saying, well, it's still happening. You see what I mean? You got to have in your mind that you are improving, because I know you are. You sound better.
That's exactly what be happening.
Yeah.
I be pulling myself back. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're going to phone us every week, and you're going to give us a report, and we're going to say you're doing better and better. I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. That's what I want you to say. When you feel one of those twitches, you just ignore it and say, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. That's your prescription. Okay?
I got you. Sound like a plan.
Okay. Okay. Talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you. You take care.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Okay. God bless Brad. We just love him. I'm so glad he's calling into the show.
Yes.
Let's go to area code 230 star 6 to unmute your phone. Oh, excuse 203. Sorry. 203 star 6 to unmute your phone and join us on the call tonight with Dr. Dean. Hello. There you go. Come on in, give us your name and state your question or comment.
Hi, I'm Barb, and we're living in Georgia. We just moved here from Connecticut, and I love all the products. We buy them and give them away. We've been just doing that and just helping so many people. So it's a joy to be on here with Dr. Dean.
Well, that's
so
awesome.
I have a couple of questions. Yes, I think it's awesome too.
Yeah, thank you for doing that,
exciting.
Barb. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank you. And you know what? One of our best buddies, we bought everything for him, and he's been taking the magnesium and the silver and putting that in his water and drinking it every day. But he has high blood pressure. So this is not really why I called you, but I really want to just say this anyway, because I gave him, I texted him the other day, because I know he has all of the minerals and everything that he needs. And he promised me in January 1st he was going to start. But and so I texted him high blood pressure to lower that. You had said, I had it in my notes months ago when I was listening, I think this is correct, 2 to 3 teaspoons of Remag and two teaspoons of potassium. Yes?
Yes, that sounds like a good general formula. I would have said that.
All right, good. So that's what I passed on to Rob. So that's one. And then
also, Barb, let me throw in here. Make sure if he's on meds, that he stays on his meds. We don't want people dropping their meds. It's not one or the other. You know, he'll take the minerals, and then as he gets better, because most people, they're on their high blood pressure drugs and their blood pressure is still too high. So when his blood pressure starts getting low and stable, then he can talk to his doctor about weaning off his medications.
And how long do you think he might do that to see some kind of
right? Well,
something?
I mean, it depends on if he's diligent about it every day. I mean, we see people, within the first month, they'll start sleeping better, feeling better, less twitchy. I know we were talking to Brad about twitching. The muscles and the nerves get affected by magnesium deficiency, but we can't say to people, oh, it'll take this long. We just say, do it, read a little bit about it, make sure he reads maybe the heart health book, so he knows, you can't be his doctor, or his mother.
Right.
You've got to get him educated. So get him to read the heart health book and just buy into the whole system, rather than thinking that he's just taking a drug. He's not. He's taking nutrients that will build his body.
Yes. And he finds those heart health books. We find those on your website, or do I?
Yeah.
I gave away my Miracle Magnesium book
Right.
I had bought it right away. I don't know why, long time ago, and I gave it to somebody that really would like to read it. So I don't have that anymore. So I don't know where to get the book.
Yeah, I got 20 free ebooks at drcarolyndeanlive.com, and one of them is called Heart Health. So you just download it and read it. They're all free. Okay.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, drcarolyndeanlive.com, because we're not allowed to put my books on our RNA Reset website. The FDA doesn't want people knowing what can help them. No,
top secret.
They don't want to know that.
Secret.
Yeah.
I know that's the worst thing about all this virus stuff is that, please God, just take the silver, just take the stuff. We tell our family, and I don't know why they don't. My partner Linda, she was on there a while back, a couple of weeks ago with you, and we tell them, just take the silver, please. It kills the virus. No, we can't say that. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know how come, but so the two things, and I hope Rose, our buddy Rose, she's recovering from major cancer surgery, and she was in the hospital for 3 months, and we bought her all this stuff, and so I told her how to get online, so hopefully she's in the wings, so I don't want to be taken up. So there's two questions that I called in for. So one is that cat, we have a cat, and he's about 20, and he's on thyroid medicine, sometimes he has trouble breathing. I mean, a lot of times he has trouble breathing, and his nose runs, and he has stuffed up nose. And I wanted to give him, I think I already tried the silver, taking a little eyedropper, a little dropper, and putting it in his nose. So is that okay? I don't know that you know that, or I don't know if you can.
Well, let's ask Ginny. Yeah. She has, pussycats and puppy dogs, and what I would think with, you're talking about breathing and runny nose, it sounds like the cat has some yeast, and I would say the Flora Revive. Ginny, what do you think about our probiotic antifungal for a pussycat?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I agree. Yeast overgrowth is a major. Is your cat overweight?
No, he's very skinny. In fact, he lost so much
thin.
weight that the doctor was going to give up on him.
The vet thinks that he has like herpes.
Yeah, the vet. Oh, that's Linda. Hold on.
But usually it's herpes that gives them this upper respiratory that doesn't go away.
But I'm okay about the yeast stuff. That's because you know what we put in his food in the morning. I take that lysine. We've been doing it for years, and I undo that little pill and I drop it in some water. With little water. He likes water with his food in the morning, and we've been giving him that for years and years and years. The Lysol pill. So,
but if he still gets it, there is an interaction between herpes and yeast. So I'm sticking with the Flora Revive for this dear little pussycat. I really am. And the Pico Silver is fine too, but you can just put it in the water, his water dish, because you know how cats, they're slurping and it gets in their nose anyway.
Always.
Right?
Always. He drinks all day. He drinks all day. In fact, I got him a cat cup. I got him a cat mug, because he used to like to drink out of our mugs. No, I put the cat mug there, and I put warm water in it all day, and he just slurps up that water all day.
I mean, maybe looking for minerals. Ginny, what would you do? I would, for the being on thyroid med, is it a he or a she?
Yes, it's a he. Buddy.
It's a he.
That's his buddy.
Buddy, then I would put some Remite, and Pico Silver. And we're just talking about what, Ginny, 10 drops of each?
Yes, in a gallon of in the water. Yeah, cats are very love the Remite. I have gotten a lot of reports from people who have cats that the Remite is very good for their kitty cat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Yay. How many
Yeah.
drops? That's 10 drops in a gallon, but I don't know that he drinks a gallon every day.
No,
Or
no,
can I
you
keep
don't
it?
make a gallon every day. What you do is you make a gallon of water and you set it aside like a milk jug. You just put the drops in ahead of time. And then as you refill his water dish, you just put a little bit in over the course of whatever time it takes him to drink that much water. It's okay.
Yeah, and Linda,
Oh,
it's
right.
10 drops of each. 10
Yeah.
drops Remag, 10 drops Remite, 10 drops Pico Silver.
I got a great email from a customer who also listens to the radio show. And they are a certified animal coach and healer and that kind of thing. And she's an expert on a raw food diet. And one of the things that she said is when people are calling to ask about, what minerals and things like that they should give to their pets, you have to deal with animals' diet just like you have to deal with the human being's diet. Dr. Dean doesn't want people to drink a bunch of Remag just so they can continue to overdose on sugar and that kind of thing. I have not been successful with the raw food diet for my pets, and I'm not saying it's the answer for your pet either, but I'm just saying that we don't want to do the same thing for pets, and I can tell you're very concerned and aware about what's going on with your pet. So we do want to pay attention to the lifestyle part and the diet part, but also we know that foods, even animal foods, pet foods, are devoid of the same minerals that human foods are. So where's the win in all that? It's challenging.
So great. That is a gift. Billy, thank you. Because Flora. Yeah. How we doing that Flora Revive?
Oh, yeah. What you would do, it comes in capsules. I would open it up and just put a third of a capsule on Buddy's food once a day.
Okay.
That's it.
A third. Okay.
A third. And then you close up the capsule, put it aside, and then the next day a third.
Okay.
And it's the antifungal in it. It's not a drug. It's actually a type of yeast that kind of pushes out Candida albicans. And it's been used successfully in infants for diarrhea and different conditions. So I know it would be safe for animals. So what you guys just think about is just, well, we're doing an experiment on Buddy, and he's going to get better, and we'll report in next week.
Yes, correct. Yes, we will do that. And you, Jenny, you talk about diets. I'm just so health. I just think that way. So I'm plant-based. So that's not Buddy. Buddy's not plant-based. He likes cucumbers though. So, but we just bought a chicken, a roasted chicken, and we got it in Sprouts over here in Georgia. And it has no antibiotics, no hormones, and treated humanely. The animals were treated humanely. So that's a great thing. I mean, so we're very conscious about buying junk for him to eat. So yes.
Good. Yeah, that's nice. Of course.
And then the last thing, and I will get right off. So I wear contacts, and I felt like I did something to my eye, one of my eyes. And I kept the contact in knowing that, anyway, because when you go to the store and you have these masks on, you can't put glasses on because you get fogged up. So I left the contacts in when I was shopping. So as a result, I felt like something did something to my eye. And it's been like that. It feels much better today, but it's been like that for 3 or 4 days. So I was wondering if I could just put a little silver in my eye.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Oh, I can.
Just straight Pico Silver. It's lean back and let Linda squirt some drops in your eyes. That's all.
I have an eye cup. I have an eye cup. Yeah, Linda and I have been together 30 years. All right.
Yay.
We just got married. a couple of years ago because it's the thing to do, you know.
Well, listen to
And,
this. Listen to this, guys. Bob and I have been married 52 years. So we got you. I know.
That's so great. Oh, that's so great.
But yeah, you don't, I mean, you'll waste it, Barb. You'll waste it if you put it in an eye cup. But you can just use it straight, squirt a few drops in your eye. Just put it in a, get a dropper bottle. And you can use that on cats, in their eyes. People tell us all the time they've had eye infections. They squirt in. But the thing of it is with the eyes, you're going to blink it out, right? So you have to put it in every hour until you notice it getting better, and then you do it less and less.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, and Linda just reminded me about my nails. I know your nails tell stories. Your nails tell stories. So my nails, the big toe, it's coming. The top layer is coming off, so I can put my finger in there and I can feel like a step up.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing. So I know your nails tell stories. So what?
Well, that story it's telling is possibly a fungal infection and a new nail is growing underneath, because as you're taking your minerals and everything, maybe you need some Flora Revive along with Buddy, but as you're taking your stuff, these organisms leave. And Ginny, what do people do with the nails? Do they squirt Pico Silver on fungal nails?
Oh yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Wow.
So you can drop that on to help the healing and just let it do its thing, because what you'll notice after a while is a new nail growing underneath. But don't try to pull it off early. Just let it go. Be nice to it. Okay?
Oh, okay. I could do that.
Yeah.
And that and I keep saying one more thing. And the salt. The salt that you were talking about. I used to do sea salt, but then I read there's so much plastic in sea salt. So then I went to Himalayan. And then I have the Himalayan, but now you're saying sea salt. And I have the two that I bought from Kirkland, Costco.
Right.
So it's got the pure sea salt, fine
Well,
grain.
Himalayan is fine. Himalayan sea salt is a salt bed that was there, millennial ago, and then the earth just shifted. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
It's fine, fine.
Because I take a lot of salt. I love salt. I put salt on everything.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'll let you go. And really, thank you for the gift you are for the world. You just, wow.
Thank you, Barb. Thank you, Linda. Big hugs. Big hugs.
And Buddy says thank you, too.
I'm sure.
And we love you guys.
Love
really
you.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, see you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
Excellent.
that was like a deja vu of Lisa and Christy.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah,
down
very
in Panama.
fun.
Very sweet. Very sweet.
Very fun. Very fun. We have great listeners, great customers, great callers, great people. We're very, very fortunate. All the wonderful people that hang out with us through all the channels that we're on. Okay, let's see. 8:47. We've got a few more minutes before we have to wrap up the show. What shall we do, Dr. Dean? 646-558-8656 is the phone number. You can get that through all our social media, YouTube chat, that kind of thing, and touch base with us there. We've got a customer question here about Remag lotion. How close are we to getting that back in stock?
That's your question, Jenny. I'm not taking that. Oh, it's so sad. We're so sad about our Remag lotion not being available because it's the best. But it will be available. What we did is we didn't like the people who were making it, and we asked one of our manufacturers who makes other things for us to please make it so that we could be in control. We can't anyway. So they're doing very well. It's going through stability testing now, and it feels good and looks good. So if it does not separate, then we've got a winner. So we'll keep you posted.
Okay, couple questions here from the YouTube chat. One of was Rumi asking, I love that name, Rumi, how do nutrients affect the hormones? So I sent her the link, Carolyn, to the hormone webinar here on YouTube, but what do you want to say about the beneficial effects of hormones and minerals?
Well, I mean, when I talk about the 9 minerals that make thyroid hormone, that's pretty specific and pretty awesome. And that you can read about in my thyroid book at drcarolyndeanlive.com. Magnesium is important for the estrogen and progesterone balance. Gosh, what else? The adrenal glands require vitamin C, sea salt, and the B vitamins. They're all important, and they're not talked about nearly enough. I don't know what more to say. You can, yeah, I guess the webinar would be the best. I would have kind of covered the waterfront there, right,
Yeah.
Ginny?
Yes,
Yeah.
very good. Yep, the webinar will be absolutely the best. And you can find it here on YouTube on our channel, and I put the link in there for you. So definitely encourage you to listen to that. And also zinc, very important for libido, men's hormones, very important as well. I mean, the body needs minerals, eh, Carolyn?
Building blocks. I mean, you can't do without them. And somehow we totally ignore that in allopathic medicine and just lead people to believe that you're getting all you need in your food. All the while, Big Agra has stripped the soil of anything good and alive and healthy. So, yeah, we're on our own, folks.
Yep, you're on your own.
Go to rnareset.com right now and purchase your formulas to keep you healthy. I mean, we put the 16-ounce Remag and the 16-ounce Remite on sale. It's already kind of very much discounted from the 8-ouncers. We want people to kind of recognize it as the way to go. If you're on, as you all are, on long-term Remag, get the most affordable product. And the Realign, we've got in there are 120 capsules, so that's a 60-day supply if you're taking 2 a day, and that's your B vitamins, food-based and methylated. You don't have to worry about all this MTHFR business. And it's got 2 amino acids. One, methionine is a precursor to glutathione, and taurine is heart support. And they're both sulfur-based. So we've got the sulfur for the sulfation detox pathways in the liver. And the methyl Bs, they give up a methyl side chain or whatever to the methylation detox pathways. So we've got it covered. And because of the taste of Remag and Remite, that causes some people to avoid it and say, I'd rather die than take those nasty minerals. Well, heaven forbid that they do. Well, now you can tell them to mix it in with the berry powder. So, just like Barb and Linda are doing, buy this set on sale and start giving it as presents. No longer are you going to give chocolates and whatever else to people. You're going to give our products, our formulas. Right, yep. Ginny? Add Absolutely. To that. Put a punch in it, Ginny.
Well, and also give it to people who care about their pets, because I was just thinking about that earlier. I thought, I should be giving some of this stuff to some people I know who've got some pets with some health challenges. And one of the things that I've noticed, so I go through a rotation. I do the Remag, then I make my gallon of water. But see, I have 3 pets. I have a cat and 2 dogs, and they're bigger dogs. And they go through about a gallon of water every day, the 3 of them. They know hydration is key. They've heard the radio show. They're very into their hydration. So I give Remag one time, then we do Remite, and then I do Pico Silver. And the reason I do Pico Silver is because it's so good for their gums and their teeth. It just will, keep their gums so healthy as they go through their day of drinking that water. And it's not going to harm their little stomachs or anything like that. It's very good to keep their little icky things down. Now, the other thing is, if you have any kind of a paw issue where the dog's allergies, and of course that is also food related, and I'm paying attention to that, and I know that, but you can use Remag topically in their paw pads, Pico Silver, and that will cut down on that itching. They do not object to the mineral taste in water because they lick themselves on a daily basis in order to maintain their health, and they are not confused about nature like we are. They haven't had their palate saturated with sugar to the point that they can't even relate to anything that tastes normal unless it's sugarized, So you'll love that for your pet. So again, pay attention to the diet. Exercise always important. And of course, so are they getting their minerals. And my dogs and kitty cat are very happy about all that business. So yeah, I would definitely say stock up on the products. And we also, we're not big salespeople, so we won't have another sale like this. We don't go around running around putting our products on sale every 15 seconds like some companies do. So you got to get your good stuff and get it while you can, because that's where you're going to, then it won't be on sale for a while. So pay attention to that too.
I mean, part of the reason for our midwinter sale is that I really stock up on inventory for the end of the year. And then it's just busting out of the warehouse, even with 30,000 square feet. Well, Ginny, she maintains herself in 20,000 square feet. But man, when I went there in December, I couldn't believe it. It's like, we went from an 8,000 square foot that was packed to the ceiling to a 20,000 square foot that's packed to the ceiling. So it's just the way we roll. We want to have enough products in just in case, because things slow down when
things unfold. Things unfold. And good. God only knows what that is. None of us have a clue. But it's up to us, you guys, too. There's one elected group of people, they can only do so much. We gotta do our thing. Cherise said, so the animals don't need all of them daily. No, not really. You don't have to, just rotate them around. And yes, if your dog, you can use Pico Silver topically. Very good. Great information tonight. Everybody's saying, love you guys, love RNA Reset. Customer service is very cool too. Yes, they are. They're the coolest. And we've got
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I know time is of the essence. What I would say, Sherry said, don't use them daily. Ginny's got very healthy animals, so she's just doing this as a preventive. But you take Buddy, who has symptoms. I would be
very good.
Yes, I would be using all 3 at once. Let's get in there and help Buddy. That's so it's different for different animals, just like humans.
That's right. Yes, that's a good point. Very good. Yes. Excellent. All right. So we've come to a close. We want to thank everybody for being with us. Great show. Thank you to our producer, Rachel, Deborah, who runs the station. And of course, everybody's tuning in. Please share this. Great content tonight. And we want people to know. So hit the share button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get it out to everybody, and let's invite more people to be part of this community and get this great information. Protect your health. Got to protect our health. Thank you, Carolyn, for everything.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you, Ginny. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, listeners. And thank you, Bob, who's gone to the beach.
Yay, Bob. Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Dr. Carolyn Dean live radio show. For questions about today's broadcast, email Dr. Dean at questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com. That's questions@drcarolyndeanlive.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy.